Alright guys, so I'm going to talk about some Ed, Eddy ships. I'm going to preferably EddxMarie because that's my ship and probably my number one ship. You know, one of my biggest ships ever. That was like when even before I didn't understand what shipping was, I shipped these two. Yeah, that's how far we go, ladies and gentlemen. We go that far. Now, Ed and Double D. Now, here's the interesting thing about Double D. Double D is one of the few characters ever in any sort of form who has been shipped with both guys and girls and guys. He's literally been shipped on both sides of the gender. Literally, he's kind of like Katara in a way, where he has been shipped with everyone. No, really, go to look at Edda and Eddy fanfiction and Avatar: The Last Airbender fanfiction, and tell me, you know, how much you see of Katara and Double D getting shipped with literally fucking everyone. And we've seen this before in other ones too, but I feel like Double D and Katara are usually the biggest ones. Those are usually the ones, first and foremost, that get shipped a lot with everyone. But yeah, of course, the two biggest, we've got Marie and Double D, and the other one is, and this one actually has made a huge impact. Like, I could go on fanfiction.net and see, like, just mountains and mountains upon it. I don't know where this sparked from, because I knew it was always a ship. I always knew this was a ship, but recently, it's had this giant resurgence. It's had this gigantic, just utter, huge, upheaval. It's had this huge, rising, basically. So, I really don't know, how this happened, but yeah, Kevin and Double D, while I don't personally ship it because, it's not because, oh, it's two dudes. I've shipped two guys before. I mean, hell, one of my favorite couples in comics is Apollo and Midnighter, which is which was one of the first big male same-sex couples in the male gender. And yeah, it's not because of that. It's not because of that at all. It's because I don't ship it. And if anyone out there listening to this ships it, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. I don't bash people's ships. But the main reason why I don't ship it at all is because I feel like Kevin is not I feel like if they were to enter a relationship, let's just entertain the idea that Double D may be gay. Let's entertain that. And if they did enter a relationship, I feel like Kevin would be a little too... I feel like he'd be a little too aggressive with him. Like it would just not end well. You could argue the same with Double D and Marie, and yeah, for all intents and purposes, yeah, it could go down in flames. But yeah, no one in that, you know, but then again, you can even argue further that no one in Peach Creek is going to have a stable relationship because, goddamn, is everyone going to try to kill each other. Anyway, so, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, Double D's been shipped with literally fucking everyone. But let's talk about Double D and Marie. Now, the reason why I like Double D and Marie is because they're total polar opposites, but at the same time, you could see them working out as a couple. Also, I want to bring up, because, 3 minutes in, and I haven't mentioned the artist. I don't know who the artist is. I just found this piece of fan art, and I was like, God damn, and I've seen this guy do work before, this person, I don't mean to assume it's a guy, this artist, I should say, I don't know the gender of the artist, so I apologize for that. I don't know who, this person, who their artwork is, but I've seen it all the time. When you think Double D Marie, it usually comes out like this, and I gotta say, this is really good work. I just wish I could give credit to this person, because I don't know who they are. I don't know the name, people. What's his name? We threw out his name! Or his or her name. Anyway, so let's move. So Double D Marie is not only because it's almost like a gender bent Beauty and the Beast. Really, it's very much a gender bent Beauty and the Beast. You could almost look at it like Ryoko and Tenchi in a way. You could almost look at it from Tenchi Muyo. Marie is this very aggressive, very strong-willed, and very she's literally the embodiment of a of a trailer park girl, and Double D is literally a stick. So it would be kind of obvious who would wear the pants in this relationship, as well as who would be on top in the bed. But yeah, here's the thing. I've been kind of noticing this big trend in a lot of Ed and Marie fanfiction. I've kind of noticed this trend, and it's kind of flown out. My thing, here's what I've kind of noticed, and I don't want to bash ships, but here's what I've kind of noticed, and I feel like it's a little, it's kind of out of character, but at the same time, if you do it right, you can make it work. And that in particular is making Marie the weakest of the group. You see, a lot of people seem to think that with Marie is that she has this huge, tough exterior, but inside is a sweet girl. Where on the other hand, while I do think she can be sweet at times, I do think that tough exterior is really just a tough exterior, and she can, you can be tough and sweet at the same time. Yeah, it is more or less that you can put on this tough, I'm a badass kind of exterior, and still have that kind of inner form to it. So Marie, you have to understand that Marie, she has, technically, Lee and May are her half-sisters, If you guys remember from the very first episode where the Cankers appeared, basically, we find out that they all have the same mom, different dads. So literally, yeah, they're all, she has no father, she had no father figure, and and from a majority of headcanon, which I have accepted, and I'm pretty sure everyone has accepted, the thing is that she's probably lived with a mother who's taught her that men are kind of assholes. So she has this major disregard for him. Let's also not forget that she's probably one of the strong, behind Ed, the Canker sisters are literally the strongest people in the Ed, Edd and Eddy show. Yeah, let's be totally fucking honest here. Yeah. Aside from Ed, who is literally the destroyer of worlds, if he, God help us if he had a pebble in his shoe. But yeah, the Cankers are literally some of the strongest people. So I've kind of, the best way to describe, and this might be a little interesting here. The best way to probably describe Marie and her personality is something similar to is like a female version of Wolverine, where she is tough, but at the same time, she, if you can make this work, is that she can be sweet at the same time. She can be a badass, but a sweet badass. You just have to get past that tough exterior. But here's the thing. A lot of people seem to mistake, Marie's really a sweetheart and she breaks down and cries. While I do think Marie can cry about some things, I don't think she would break down and cry about everything. That's the big thing here, is that a lot of writers, seem to confuse that Marie is just like, oh, my life is so terrible, I'm the weakest of my sisters and my sisters suck. And that's the other thing, is like, it's clear that they all, they're family, but they still beat the shit out of each other. So I don't think, there's any, major animosity there, and that she lives in an abusive home. If anything, Marie is very content with her home. She is very, very content with her, with her home, more or less. She is very content with that. So yeah, that's kind of the thing, is that, Ed and Marie, Marie is kind, she doesn't really look like she comes from an abusive home. It's more like, yeah, I like where I come from, and if you don't like it, then fuck you, I'm gonna put you in the fucking hospital. So that's how I've kind of always seen it. Now, it's not to say people can write a Marie story where she has talks to Marie about her life. There's no problem with that. It's not exactly the easiest life, but at least she would have some. I feel like she would have some pride to it. She was made this way. She didn't have a dad. Oh well. She didn't have thousands of dollars. Oh well. That's kind of how I've always seen Marie. Is that she's just kind of like, you know what? Take it or this is me. Take it or leave it. And the way you're leaving is via body bag. God, I can't talk today. What is wrong with me? So that's how I've kind of seen it, is that Marie is poor but proud, more or less, of her life. And Double D is, like I said, a stick and very intelligent, but I feel like Marie has some intellect too. But like I said, it's like a gender-bent Beauty and the Beast. And also, can we stop having Marie be dumb? I know she's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but her not knowing some words like, what's a word I saw her mess up on? Conceal. Like, she doesn't know what the word conceal means, or what was another story I read where she didn't know a simple word? I can't remember. But yeah. I don't think she's totally dumb. Illiterate, probably. Totally illiterate, because obviously she skipped a lot of school, so I would imagine that Double D would have to, teach her how to... but then again, she probably does know how to read, but not to a huge extent that Double D does. So I do feel like, Double D, if he had, with Marie at his, he would teach Marie all this and be her tutor, and I like that, because that's actually, I've seen a lot of that in fanfiction where he plays the tutor to Marie Canker, and that's how they kind of end up. Here's another thing. Can we, and this is always something I've kind of always had in terms of fanfiction with Double D Marie. The thing is that I think Double D would not be so, hyped up for sex. I don't think, a lot of people have like, okay, they're gonna bone, but here's the thing. Double D is so cleanly and so, he's so timid. I feel like, and don't get me wrong, Marie would totally jump his bones, just throw off all of his clothes and probably, try to get him to, quintessentially try to rape him. But still, I don't think Double D would jump on the idea of it. I feel like Double D, since he's, he would just be like, no, 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 no! Because he would probably think sex is too messy, and, he's too young for it. And he has, they don't have protection on him. So Marie, while she would be kind of hankering for the double dick, I feel like Double D would not be giving it out as much some writers would say he would. And again, I don't mean to bash ships, it's just that and this is just an observation. I don't want to bash any ships here. I really do not want to bash in any way, shape, or form any ships of any kind. Anyway, so that's kind of the big thing here, is that, and like I said going back, is that Marie, she's quintessential, she's a pervert. Let's not beat around the bush. She's a pervert. And I feel like if they did enter a relationship, Double D would have to get over that real quick. I feel like Double D would get over that. And plus, here's another added bonus of Double D dating Marie. Marie is literally can only work as a bodyguard, boyfriend, god damn it, words, as a girlfriend, but also a bodyguard. Ugh, finally it comes out. So yeah, not only as a girlfriend, but as a bodyguard. Because let's face it, Double D is, like I've been saying through this vid, a total twig, and he can't fight for shit. So Marie would literally be there to, not only, kiss him and tell him, oh, it's gonna be fine, honey. I'm gonna go break their hands, okay? You just stay here, you read your book, okay, honey? I'll be right back, I'm gonna put them in the EMC, I'll just totally rip their spines out. It'll be fine, honey, don't worry. Don't worry, it'll be fine. I'm gonna rip their spines out, it'll be fine. No, don't get up. I'm gonna rearrange their face, okay? Bye. End scene. I dragged that out longer than I should have, unfortunately. Yeah, that's kind of really how I like it. How I like Double D and Marie, where Marie can be a total pervert and Double D just she loves, I kind of imagine she would be perverted on mostly just to make Double D all flustered and just be like, Marie, we can't do that here, not in the janitor's closet, not in the janitor's closet. And she'd be like, that's why we're doing it. And I feel like in some cases she would, she would totally be a bad influence on him, because I could see, Double D probably, because he already hangs out with Ed and Eddy, and those two aren't exactly role models either. So I kind of imagine that, I really do imagine that, if Marie said, look, let's just cut one class, we'll get something, let's just cut, lunch, go out, get something else, and come back. Yeah. So, that's how I kind of imagine that she wouldn't I don't think she would force him, if they were in a lasting relationship, I don't think she would straight up force him to cut classes or, skip studying. I feel like she would, kind of, put a little idea in his head, or kind of be like, you don't have to be on time, just one tardy. But I feel like eventually she would get there, especially if their relationship lasted into college. Anyway. So, yeah, I've spent 70% of this video talking about Double D and Marie, because like I said, that's the flagship right there. That's the flagship ship. And I guess for the other Cankers, for the other Cankers and Eds, Lee and, of course I ship Eddy and Lee, and with Ed and May. Eddy and Lee, that relationship is so fucking toxic. Because, seriously, it would just literally be, like I've said about several other ships, it would just be fight, fuck, fight, break up, get back together and fuck, and it'd just be a cycle. And because they're so bad for each other, but then again, you look at it like, well, Eddy's pretty much bad for everybody, really. He's bad for both genders, really. And I feel like Lee's the only person who could, like, not only put him in his place, but really put up with his shit and give it back to him. And when Eddy's, like, being a total dick, she'd just be like, alright, you want to say that word again? Fuck you. And, again, I feel like she would know, Eddy would know who's wearing the pants in this relationship. Because Lee, like I said, would in no way put up with his shit. In no way. But at the same time, I feel like she'd be the only one who would tolerate all the screaming, all the shouting, all the scheming. I feel like she'd be the only one who would be like, yep, alright. Keep on shouting, alright. You done? Okay. And for Ed and May are just literally just super durable. Seriously, if Ed would just be like, stop being, girls, and just like notice May and Ed would just be totally adorable, because I just kind of imagine May would just be up for anything Ed would do. Anything that Ed says May would probably do, and I wouldn't say it'd be subservient. May just seems like that kind of person who'd just be like, yeah, let's do this, yeah, let's do that, yeah, let's do that. I feel like she's the yes person of the group. And if Ed says, hey, I'm going to go watch a horror movie marathon, and you want to come with me? And May would probably be up for it. Like, as long as she gets to spend time with Ed, she's happy. That's kind of the core of it, is that as long as she's with Ed, she's happy. She could get horrible nightmares and not want to watch anything or read comics or anything, but at the core of it, she just wants to be happy and be with Ed. That's kind of the big thing, if they were in a relationship. And also, God, I worry about the kids they would have, because I have this fear that they would, their kids would be born a dimwit. Because Ed, I'm sorry, but, Ed's not too bright. Marie ain't too bright either. I don't want to say their kid would be mentally challenged. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that basically he would turn out to be Ed Jr. or May Jr. is what I'm saying. Like, literally, he or she would, or if they have multiple kids, they wouldn't be the brightest members of the bunch. Sorry, that's the chair. They wouldn't be the sharpest tool in the sheds, is what I'm saying. That's the other thing, is that I have this weird feeling, and I've talked about it before, and I've mentioned this a few times before, is that Ed and Eddy are literally, Bubbles, Ricky and Julian from Trailer Park Boys, just as kids, and you could literally have them, just give up and live in the trailer park. That's how I've always kind of seen it in their future lives, is that they've, grown up, and now they've just given up on everything, especially Ed. He just now lives in the trailer park with Marie. That's how I've always kind of seen their later years, is that they've just been like, well, screw it. Let's just get hitched with the Cankers, because no one else is gonna fuck us, so might as well do that. And that's how I've kind of imagined their later years, as something equivalent to to Trailer Park Boys, more or less. Yeah, that's how I've always kind of seen it. Anyway, yeah, I know I spent a lot of time on Ed and Marie, on Double D and Marie, more or less. I know I've kind of tripped over my words for that, and I'm sorry. But yeah, because that was like I said, that was the biggest ship. That's the biggest ship. And again, not to discredit, the other ships. I am in no way trying to bash anyone's ship. I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm just saying, I don't really prefer those ships. I just stick with the Eds and Cankers together, because who else is going to put up with them in Peach Creek? No, I'm asking you, who else is going to really put up with them? No one, that's who. And who's going to put up with the Cankers shit? Not anyone else, I can tell you that. So, it's literally kind of like small town. Shit. Well, come on. Let's do this. Let's elope. Oh, Lordy. Anyway, So you guys tell. So yeah, that's kind of really the gist of it, really. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of Ed, and Eddy ships? What are some of your favorite ships? And tell me why you really ship them. You know, I'm really curious to know why certain people. I'm always curious to know why people ship them. You know, and let's not just say just cause. Although there has been multiple points where I've even said just cause. Whatever. That's beside the point. But yeah, just comment below. Let me know what are some of your favorite Ed, and Eddy ships. Just like I said, comment below. Let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And I will see you guys later.